Hello everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Darklight 2. Last time, we moved further into Ocean Ore Cave chasing after Shingala. Shingala the Shigura, I might add. This time, I said we'd be playing as Monica. However, I'm not bringing Mullane along like I normally would. I recommended Rufio for this dungeon, so it's Rufio we're bringing. He gives you bonus damage to undead monsters. Well, therefore, we've seen a couple skeletons and zombies and undead pirates, so we're going to be using him a little bit in here. Considering that with Monica, we no longer have anyone for the rest of the game that can upgrade her Broussard with special stats, so we don't need to worry about that. And her Isle Sword's +3, just trying to worry about her attack. So I'm not too worried about getting bonus points there. So we're going to move on and see what this brings. We're actually not going to be focusing too much on Monica's weapons, though. There's something else I want to give a little bit more oomph to that involves Monica. And considering how there's only one other thing it could be, we're going to be training on her monster today. Going to try getting some more experience for the Gemron. But first off, we have a new monster here, the Antimedusa. First monster of its kind that we've fought so far. Has 2 attacks. Stabs. 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 And shoots off that. That can petrify you. Petrify is a new status that you can't get before this point. And there are 2 things that can heal it. The Mighty Healing, since it heals everything, and Medusa's Tears, which reverses the effects. Which are now available now that you're entered Chapter 4. I'm going to go ahead and use one of our keys here. Where is the key? There it is. Get a wealth coin. Well, not the coin I'm looking for, but thank you. Hiccups all of a sudden for some reason. Oh shoot, I forgot to... Oh, well, I'll do it after this episode because it's the last time I'm recording. I forgot to post episode 23 to the Discord. Which I think this is 33, so 10 episodes later. Woo! 10 episode lead. Let's try keeping it that way. Then our stone piece. I started off the series. For those of you watching back-to-back years in the future when I might have more followers. I did say I was going to upload this as I recorded everything, but I just didn't have time for it, and it really slowed everything down. So now I'm recording ahead. Let's do this one. Nope, not that one. The other way. There we go. I'm starting to run out of things to say. I'm recording everything as of Chapter 4 so far, pretty much back-to-back. A little bit of pause between a couple of the episodes, but I'm running out of things to chat about. Which is another reason I wish I could do this live, because then I'd have chat to go off of. Another reason? Pretty sure it's the same reason I've always stated. Or yeah, just having someone here in the room to bounce chat off with. We have our first gate here. I didn't think about it earlier when I picked up the stone for it. But we do have our first block-off gate of this dungeon. Which, funnily enough, I completely forgot to mention it, Chapter 3 does not have. There is no small key for Chapter 3, which is a little weird. They easily could have just had, like a tied up knotted bridge or something to throw across to get to the area. It's not like they couldn't have come up with the night before, they just didn't. And I have no idea as to why. What does that make you now, by the way? Level 5, huh? 35 attack. Not bad. I forget what the max monster level is. I know I've never maxed it out, but I forget what it is. Come closer, Mr. Elemental. Also, the damage on Monica's sword seems to be running a little thin. How much damage are you doing and stuff now? 4? Alright. At 35 attack, I wasn't expecting it to do much because we're starting to get into the 60s and 70s, where we want our attack to be. Take that to the underground water channel, though. You really mess some shit up. As I said before, I don't plan on grinding all of Monica's monsters up, just the couple I will be using, which I think is just 2, maybe 3. Yeah, maybe 3. I also got to double check to make sure that there isn't a monster in this transformation. So I look into the badges. I know what this one is, I know what that one is, and I know what these two are. I'm forgetting one monster, and I can't think of what it is. One of these you can't get till chapter 5, the other one you can't get till chapter 7, and these are related to something else. So I'm forgetting one monster, and I don't know what it is. So I'll have to look that up and try remembering. Oop, wrong one. Unless you get really lucky with Spheda chests, the Chapter 7 one is a one-shot. You won't be able to actually try for it again until Chapter 8, which is the post-game chapter. Keep that in mind. That is one you definitely do not want to miss on. Is that the other creature down here? There goes the other creature down here. Oh, there's one over here. Another new creature, but we've seen the spider ladies before. We can actually turn into one. These guys' attacks are exactly the same. Not really much point in going over them again. Unless you're new to the series, which they shoot stuff at you and bop you over the head with their stick. Quick recap done. There's actually a lot of cool things that go along with Monica's monster transformations. And I'm pretty sure that's why the game developers didn't give her as much. Because Monica's originally supposed to be the one that played Spheda. That's why the cutscene shows her with it. She's the one that gives you the tutorial on it. But then they end up making the Spheda a club weapon instead of a sword weapon. So only Max could equip it. But Max already has fishing, the photography, which he can only do because he's the only one that can equip the camera for some reason. Max has a lot of things that he and he alone can do. Monica has monster transformations. And that's pretty much it. She can't play Spheda, she can't fish, she can't take pictures. I think it's implied that most of the diorama designing comes from her at some point. But that's about it. 2 key chests on the same floor. Interesting. However, Monica's monster transformation is probably the most in-depth thing in terms of rewards you can get out of it. It just takes a very long time and a lot of grinding to do. Found the King Mimic already. What's that? I might make a video one day about all the rewards you can get from it are in case you want to do it yourself. But it is a very long and arduous process. Even using the experience you get from the post-game dungeon, it takes a while. Like, you may be thinking that it's getting decent experience now. You gotta remember, it's only a level 5 creature in a dungeon after you get it. Keep that in mind. And it's not even really that either. Because all the level 1 monsters need exactly 100 experience to level up. It's a lot like the Ripod, where it has the experience number that you gained altogether. And the first level is always exactly 100 experience, so it doesn't really matter what dungeon you get them in. Get them 100 experience, they level up. So, and the experience curve is also the same for all of them. So, say the flower, which is the first one we got, sit there and you try leveling it up in the forest, where you're only getting 12 to 20 experience per thing you kill. After level 1, not so bad. Getting to 100 once isn't all that terrible. After the experience curve, however, as you see, we're what, level 6 with this guy now? Yeah, we're level 6. And we're killing monsters worth 30, 40, 50, 60 experience, and we only got 26. At some point, it starts becoming like half an experience a monster. Pretty sure it just gives you a minimum of 1, but you get to where you gotta kill 100 creatures per level. Which, I suppose if you find a fast area to grind in, it wouldn't be that bad. But, it takes a minute. The only monster I've even tried maxing is the Gemron, for its stunning capabilities. And I only got it until like the 50s before I quit trying. Because it takes so long to level them up after that. It takes so long. And I did look it up at one point. I believe the final level that they can get to is 100 or 150 or something like that. It's a pretty high level that they can get to. But it just takes so long and so much effort to get them there. It's honestly not worth it. I mean, some of the rewards you get for it, while cool, aren't exactly worth it. If you're playing this on an emulator, and you're any sort of coder, because I don't know if like emulated mods actually exist for this game or not. I've never actually looked up into it, which is weird, considering this is like my favorite RPG, or one of anyway. Do fix that. Try fixing the experience curves, because they are so bad. They are so bad. That was a bit of a longer floor, I think. We'll do one more still, though. As we move on to sand molars. How far are we along? We're getting pretty decently far along. Yeah. But at some point, maybe after I get the quote-unquote last one from Chapter 5, because then you got a whole chapter skip before you get another one. Actually, you know what? I know the one I'm missing. Yep, that is the one I'm missing. If I remember right. These ones or those ones? We'll try both. I got 4 things. I am missing the magical creature one. Oh, not that one? one of these rocks. I know it is. Gotcha. There we go. And with that, we get the Monster Transformation Magical Creature Badge. The one you're supposed to get it from is what you transform into. The Balloon Karens. I think I just didn't have the item I needed to give to them, is why I didn't do it. But yeah, that's originally what you're supposed to get them from. And we have one more creature here and one more here that we gotta get yet. This one's a Chapter 7 one, this is a Chapter 5 one. That was a bit of a hassle, but we got there in the end. Dang. They also have so many of them. There are 12 badges in total. I guess I can spoil it because it's going to be a little while before we get to them. Like, late Chapter 6, Chapter 7 before we even get to them. But 2 of them you get from getting photos. They're 2 of your scoop rewards. And they just increase the damage and defense of all your creatures. So all those 2 badges do. Also molars, we've seen molars before. So, speaking, you have 10 creatures that you gotta level up that much. Like I said, I gave up after getting either a half or a third of the way through one. It's just so much trouble to max them all out. I have never done it. If it's a trophy for the PlayStation, I might do it eventually because I like trophy collecting and I'll actually have an incentive to do it. Because by the time you get around to where you actually get decent enough experience to grind them on, you don't need a lot of the rewards they give. Like, most of the rewards are like gems, which gems are always nice to upgrade weapons. But for those of you who've played this game before, you know after a certain point, they're not necessarily needed. Your weapons are either strong enough that they either one or two shot everything. Like, well, you don't need gems anymore. Still nice to get them. I mean, it's less synthesis points for the extra points you put in, so you can guarantee one shot everything. But like I said, after a certain point, they're just not needed anymore because the weapons are strong enough. Other things you get are like throwable items, which you can buy every single throwable item except for stones, I think, from shops. Or steal them from enemies as you're going through. Right here, we probably won't use these for quite some time. I say as I'm about to blast the guy with a bomb. Oh, thank you. I got some breakfast. Yeah. So, the point where you can actually start grinding them, they become pretty worthless as rewards. It's not even the fastest way to get them either. Which is a sad thing. Like I said, stealing them's better. For the gems, speed is better. So, it's not particularly worth doing all that often. And since I'm going into an in-depth synthesis guide, and I plan on doing an in-depth fishing guide at some point, I suppose we could probably go in-depth on our creatures. I just won't have footage for it, because I'm not going to actually sit down for 40 hours and grind one creature. So, but we'll go into it, don't worry. Also, toast with Jen. Well, good. A lot of statues in this one. This is also the chapter you unlock the infinite money glitch in. Like I said, I'll do it once to show it off. So I'm not going to get too carried away with it. I think. It might be chapter 5 where the infinite money one is. Level 7 now. Ten's what I'm trying to get it to, of course. Ow. You guys do so much more damage than I remember. I mean, I know Monica is one defense upgrade shorter than I think she's supposed to be. But still. Ow. Yeah, but just look at the experience difference from 4 when we started to 7. These guys give decent experience, but the bar's moving about that much. So hard to grind these. These things give almost double the experience that stuff in the canyon did. In Starlight Canyon. So imagine trying to grind this back then. Like I did as a kid. I had to stay up level 20 before leaving Starlight Canyon. On my first playthrough. Don't ever do that. That's just how much I liked using this thing. Or not the Gemron, because I didn't know how to get the Gemron. The Fairy. The Gooey Peach Fairy is the one I leveled up, which, not worth it. Don't ever do it. We're going to go ahead and use our last key. Get a swan. That was definitely not worth a key. Keys cost 500. That sells for like 100. At least the coins are semi-worth it. This should be our first fetus floor, actually. Which I'll finally be able to show that off. Because there isn't a way up top, I don't think, by the looks of it. Yeah, that should be our first fetus floor. Fetus floor? Floor. This looks like an easy shot, right? Straightforward, you make it bounce once, it goes in. I almost guarantee I missed this shot. We're going to go ahead and use the turkey. I almost guarantee I miss it. If it was the same color, yeah. Because we have to bounce it once, I can almost guarantee we're going to miss this. We gotta let it hit the ground once first. So we're gonna go about there. Seems like enough power. About there. It immediately stopped when it hit the water, and it didn't even color change. This terrain is considered soft enough that sometimes it just doesn't change the color. You almost always have to bounce it off a wall to do that. And it loses all momentum the second it hits the water, which makes Spheda here so terrible. Like in any other dungeon, I would have gladly had that shot. You just bounce it off the floor and it goes. Not in this one. If you hit it hard enough, it does bounce out of the water. But for short shots like that, almost never. But with that, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you really enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe. In the next episode, we're going to be moving on. We're almost caught up with Shingala. Got a few more floors to go here. But we shall see you guys in the next episode. And a quick way to know whether or not you have Spheda on the floor, now that I remember all this stuff. These ones always have beaches. The ones that look like this are cave only. So keep that in mind. And we'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.